It's all going. We're.
I hope so.
It says live and recording now.
I hope we're there. I'm just checking everything right now. We're live on Twitch.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Let me just get in here.
Oh, there we are.
We're on everything. We're going. We're good.
No opening video. It's just the two of us show up and we're going crazy.
Folks, if you don't know, I'm actually using Streamlabs Talk Studio for the first time personally. So, yeah, a few kinks and a few worries and a few weird things about it. So let me get just what a bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, we got that going. And all right, well, hi, I'm Mike the Ref, owner, proprietor of Backbreaker Media here, and my OG, my day one, my confidant, my top guy that has been with me through thick and thin, Andre C, has joined me here.
Hello.
And as well, we see one of our other members who's popped in here, Melball.
My tag team partner.
Great to see you here, Mel. If you want to chime in, if you want to pop in, feel free. Just ask. I think Andre could send you a link too. So
that's true. I can if she wants.
McKerndy is also in the chat. I acknowledge my tribal chief. Usually with me, it's usually a different finger, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, it's the pinky, right? Because you're all proper and shit.
That's right. That's proper. Her referee's a pinky. But we might as well get to the photo right now just to show everybody exactly what we're talking about here. So
damn it, I didn't wear my shirt.
Well,
I didn't think to.
I got this one specially made. We'll talk about it in a bit here because we got a lot of things to go through. But January 1st, 2015, I've been doing a whole bunch of podcasting on myself, covering CFL and WWE. And after watching the local independent scene and meeting some friends there that wanted to discuss wrestling and just talk about how good wrestling was in the Edmonton, Alberta area, this shows up.
Yeah, the Edmonton SPN, baby.
Yep, the way that we found that we could get around certain copyright laws, of course. So it was always a great way to do that. So do you remember the first ever show that we had on the network, Andre?
I want to say Pinoca.
No, I'm talking about actual audio. And I don't know if you remember this because I've always joked at you about this because it shows how green as grass we were to start out. Do you remember doing a certain interview? January 4th, 2015?
Chris Parrish.
Yep. That was our first ever interview on the network here. And that was, it was fun. And it just carried on from there. We've had a lot of fun here. We've done a lot of good things. Seen a lot of people, covered a lot of shows. Like originally it was you, me, and Brian. That just like literally we just wanted to cover the local wrestling scene and just give it the highlight that it deserved. And it just morphed into something a lot bigger.
Well, yeah, for me, because I had gotten involved in professional wrestling, I want to say around 2012, 2013, in that area with RCW, because I started ring crewing over there because there was a guy I was a fan with who started training with it for a bit, and I started ring crewing, and we got, me kind of got to know each other in that point because you started working with them as the ring announcer, I think, at one point in that time, and it just I was loving the scene. Everything was good. Like we had PWA, we had RCW, we had Monster Pro, all doing really good work. And I just wanted to talk about it, and you were kind of my outlet to do this.
Yeah, and I was just happy to get an opportunity to have more than one person discuss all this. Let me bring up a photo here that you're really going to enjoy. This is from one of the first ever shows that I called, but this also involves one of your favorite wrestlers that you've ever met.
Oh, Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, an RCW show here in Edmonton, and I remember him taking on Scott Justice in that show, and it was just so much fun having him here. And I'll be honest, I didn't have a clue who he was when he came out, which is the funniest part about the whole thing. I'm trying to call this match with just a relative unknown.
I've been watching him maybe for a year at that point, like about a year's worth of wrestling at that point, because I only got into New Japan, like started really actively watching it the year before in 2014. So, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just so many great wrestlers we've seen come through here. And the fact that the talent that we had locally just not only kept up, but in many cases surprised the incoming talent and surpassed a lot of what they were able to do.
Yeah, like you said, Scott Justice, him and Kenny Omega like actually tore the house down in that match, and like Scott Justice, till the day he left this province, was one of my favorite wrestlers going in the scene until he went back to Australia. But yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal, and yeah, just watching, we saw the I remember one tremendous young wrestler named the Bosnian Adonis that used to come through our CW when we were there, and I remember I loved talking about him when we did our post shows.
Zarif Matovic.
Yep.
No, so we ended up, I think it was pretty much almost the first year we pretty much exclusively covered all the Edmonton shows, and
Pinoca.
And Pinoca. Well, Stetler actually, I think, was our first ever road trip, was it?
Sorry, it was not Pinoca. It was Stetler. See, you're right. I always think Pinoca, but it was actually Stetler, because that's the one I did like I ring announced 2 matches on.
Yeah, you ring announced 2 matches. We ended up. What was it? We ended up doing ring crew for that because nobody showed up.
And that's where they put the hole in the wall.
The Italian Policio puts his fat ass through the wall. And the promoter manages to actually convince the Legion that it's a beautiful thing that happened, and he ended up not having to pay it.
That's pretty gosh darn lucky. I'll say that right there, but I got to say hi to Kayla in the chat. Hello.
Kayla gives us a happy anniversary here. And Walker Pipe Guy popping in here. 10 years, hell of a run so far. Here's to the next 10.
Heck yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen here with this next 10 here. So
never know.
And then we got a bunch of legends. Loved your after show reviews when you first started. The one thing I always enjoyed, and first of all, I want to give a shout out to Ryan and Amanda, who aren't here tonight, obviously, but for the first couple of years of the PWA shows, they were always willing to help us out. No questions asked. I remember how Amanda just loved talking about the women's matches that showed up on the card. People like Giselle Shaw showing up here, and Kat Von Hees, who's still going strong here in Alberta and Western Canada for that matter.
No, Eastern Canada too.
Yeah. And then Zoe Sager actually. Oh, here we go. Just got to, Mel's recognizing greatness here coming in as well. Greatness recognizing greatness.
That's right.
And then seeing, Kayla J was one of them as well. Angelica. We were absolutely stacked with a women's division here, and hell, even on the later parts here, when we got we had that time with Rachel Ellering, which we're definitely going to get to that picture before we finish up here today. And then also current WWE ID member Zoe Sager. That was close to the tail end of when we exclusively covered PWA and whatnot here.
Yeah, those last before COVID, where we didn't really do a lot of RCW shows in that last year before COVID.
Well, let's just say we're gonna have to get into that. I know we only got about an hour here, but we got some interesting takes on a lot of things that happened here, and I will say one thing, and I'm very proud of one little fact that I have. The last PWA show before COVID, I managed to work sound for that show because Boris was gone to Vegas for the week. So that allowed me to cover work with every single indie promotion in Alberta pre-COVID.
Yeah.
With PPW, CWC, which we'll get to CWC too, because that was a treat.
That was a fun ride.
Yeah, just Kayla buttering us up again with see you guys always favorite and saying hi to Mel. And then 2019 was legendary. Yeah, absolutely. That whole stretch there from 2015 to 2019, there was such a dichotomy shift in the talent, thanks to some real good stuff and some real stupid stuff on some other parts. Like, we remember going to those MPW shows, and I think I have a picture of the venue.
The Alberta Avenue Community Hall. They're still there, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still there, but the fact that those shows are absolutely jam-packed to the rafters with fans.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I got one for you here. Let me pull this up. Like, this was every show.
Yeah. Again, I remember going to these shows and having such a great time and watching, like, again, like guys like Chris Parrish early on, Sean Martins, a lot of guys, Massive Damage. Like, as much as I'm not a fan of Massive Damage, back then I was a huge fan of Massive Damage at that point. Again, there's so many good, like, guys got their, again, I saw a lot of great guys get their start in MPW, and it was a great time.
I got one guy I definitely want to shout out here, and he probably was my favorite going into my time at MPW, and his son has definitely taken over the name and also taken over a lot of high flag over at RCW, and that's the Irishman.
Yeah. Chris Irishman, man. I man's still a brother to this day, man. Every time I see him, it's like I can't help but be happy. Makes me smile.
Just make sure we get that in there. Hey, Astrid, good to see you here. And then KJ, who was part of that later part of that roster, hated the setup but loved the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole having to deal with barbed wire not barbed wire, it felt like barbed wire around the ringside area. That had a lot to do with it as well. So
yeah, some of that barricade could cut you up in a weird way. And it was just like, it was annoying because, like, I was very much a person, if I have a hard barricade for me, I want to lean forward onto it. And every time I do it, I'm like, and it just, yeah.
Well, I want to. We're going to get into a touchy subject here. I know it's going to be a little tough for you on this one, but I'm going to bring this photo up right away here. But I do want to give a special shout out right now to Chris Parrish, because he was the one that managed to get our foot in the door, to allow us get us our opportunity to first time ever to do color commentary.
Yeah, I remember that. I was so excited when we started doing color with MPW. It was such a blast. And we started doing some work with them backstage, helping with video. And I remember we did a show, and then I think it was at the Kingsway Legion. And then we sat there, that
was the first show that we did, was the Kingsway Legion.
And then we remember us going there like on the Monday and watching the video with all the wrestlers and listening to the commentary and just chatting about it. I love getting compliments from the wrestlers. It made me feel so cool, like just that they appreciated the things we were saying about them.
I definitely want to give a shout out to the group that, well, they're now known as the Rads. Mm-hmm. Ben Ullman, Rich King, T.Y. Jackson, Lumberjack Larry Woods. Those guys,
F and Larry,
the whole roster was so accommodating to us that basically anything we asked from them, they gave us. They even popped in on the post shows quite a bit and just threw in their promos or just tried to trash talk us one way or the other. But I do have to say those guys have been so kind and so accommodating to us and made us feel like it was really special for what we were able to do in everything that we did.
Yeah, Rich King has ruined my life this past year and a half, just making me feel absolutely terrible in the best possible way by just making my body ache from making me work out and doing the right things. And I'm doing his starting his Shredamania program tomorrow. So
Yeah. That's why we got an hour to do this, folks, just for the record.
because I have to get to bed. Well, not this. It's not a hard hour, but you know what I mean.
we
Like,
we might have a part 2 for this later on. You never know at this point.
yeah,
But yeah, before we continue here, congrats to BBM on the anniversary. Thank you for the opportunity. Astrid, we didn't do much. We just made sure that you were able to get into a position where you were able to expose your talents to the world as much as possible.
mm-hmm.
It was all in you. We were just trying to help.
She's the queen for a reason, man.
And Mel Ball, of course, saying the rads are rad. Absolutely. Like, and then, of course, oh yeah, it's this one. Never mind.
Yeah. You're this one. The Rads are this one, and then Mitch Clark is this one.
And then KJ talking about the barricades. So dangerous, and someone always got hurt.
Yep. Always. You see somebody get cut up from those barricades being tossed out of the ring. It was MPW just ripped. Just always. I was like, how hard would it have been to take a day or two to just go around and like cover the top of those guardrails?
All right. Truth be known, we were actually in the process of picking up, like those water, those foam things that you use in the water to beat each other with. We were actually in the process of getting that. So we could cover those up with it, but we couldn't find an appropriate way to put it so that nobody would take them off. The old pool noodles. There you go, Walker. You got it, the pool noodle.
Yep.
So, and then just talking about still a part of it. Hey, we're just here to help. That's Andre. Andre's always been a great source of info, and I just sit back on the side and chill.
I just do what the queen and the princess tell me to do. That's simple as that.
There you go.
Queen Astrid and Princess Melwell. That's what I do.
Well, I think right now we might have to bring the stream down a little bit before we bring it back up here a little bit, because I did bring it up in the picture here, and I want to give the eternal shout out here, and it's to the man on the left there. One of the most caring and enthusiastic people that we had here as part of the BBM group. Never had a bad thing to say about a match. Always enjoyed it. It was actually a meme before a meme when it came to the wrestlers sometimes, where they actually thought that he was just a robot that kept saying positive things about everybody. And that's the wrestling mind, Brian Hamilton. He used to have I don't know if Vance Nevada ever found it.
No, he got a hold of it. Because when Vance wrote his first book, he got Brian Brian used to sit there and take notes at every single show. He would write down your winner, your loser. He had notepads full of notepads and just so much of these things. And when it came when Vance was writing one of his books, Brian got him a bunch of those of those notepads, right? Just so the guy had the history of at least the Edmonton independent wrestling scene, because Brian went to everything. And like I met Brian, was it 2008, 2009, I think 2009, when 2009, 2010 at the casino, when PW used to run at the casino. And I just had gotten tired of sitting with who I sat with, and randomly went over and sat right by Brian and Delmer and Troy, and it created one of the best wrestling friendships I ever had. And yeah, we did the amount of road trips I went on this man. We went to Calgary to see MVP, who you're seeing there, and yeah.
Here's one for you.
Oh, dude, I remember us all going down to Calgary for that. And Luke forgot his shirt. So he hid behind me because he was wearing the PWA Flaming Skull shirt. Luke hid behind me so that he made sure so the shirt wasn't visible. Because I'm wearing another shirt. I just pulled. I think we all just pulled our front row mafia shirts over for the picture.
Well, you know what? Let's. There's two with the. I think we got two here. Here's one of them with Brandy Rhodes.
Yep.
With the whole gang of us here.
Yep.
Yeah, and then.
And Amanda with the secondary front row mafia shirt.
Yeah. So let me bring it back up here. Let's get Maine here. So for those that are wondering, I'm actually wearing it today. It's our front row mafia shirt. We had a specific one for each of us here.
Mm-hmm.
We had where is it here? We had Andre right here.
Mm-hmm.
I had the glasses.
Yeah.
This was Brian.
Oh no, yeah.
This is Adam. Or sorry, Brian.
Ryan, yeah, that was Ryan.
Delmar with the missing tooth. And then of course Luke, who's sitting there taping every show.
Yeah. Oh my God, he got shot. Like we were sitting at he was at the casino. Like, he recorded so many shows. Like, if you go to YouTube, Insane Fan, it's still up there. But I remember Kurt it was at the casino in like 2012-ish, and him like going around trying to figure out who the hell this person in the crowd was, and we knew it was Luke, but we didn't say a word. So we
after Kurt that pretty good.
After Kurt moved away and Luke came and sat down, I'm like, Luke, do not pull out your camera. Kurt is looking for you, because he knew where it was coming from. He just didn't know who. So I'm like, do not pull your camera out. He is after you, dude.
Oh, and it was funny because I used to be that guy with RCW back when I started filming for them, and
even Luke was filming RCW up until like 2016, I want to say.
Until I finally gave him enough gears to stop doing it. So, but at that same show, I guess I'll show this one off. I don't show many visuals that often, but this was great. When Lisa Marie Varon came up to town.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I look like my normal self there.
There you go. That just looks like everyday Mike to me.
But one of the more special experiences we had, I think we'll throw this up here right now. You know, get us a little bigger picture here. The front row mafia with Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Ellering.
It seemed like everything flowed together perfect. Just as she was coming through, she only was here, 5-6 months?
I don't even think it was that long. I'm pretty sure it was like 3 to 4.
I remember it was the first. I'll never forget that first night that I met her. Mm. It was, I was actually coming down to Calgary with you guys. Like, we all went together, and I was going down there to see Lance Storm. Mm-hmm. And then Rachel was there, and she looked like such a natural in the ring. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny because if I do remember right, you were going to go get some post-show comments.
I did.
And you were shitting bricks for the most part.
Yeah, it was my first time without, because like at many of the shows we had gone to, wrestlers, when they saw us in the lobby doing our show after the show, they would walk up to us and start saying things to us, right? I never approached anybody for interviews, so I went back in. I talked to he just resurfaced again. He's out of the UK. Bilal.
Amir Jordan.
Amir Jordan. Yeah. I have, because I have his personal Facebook. That's why I it's always hard for me to remember his shoot, dude. And when I saw him at an LPW show when he first came back to Alberta, he immediately remembered me, which made me very happy. But I walked in there, I got Rachel Ellering's first ever interview. It's only like a minute and change, but I can say I have her first interview. You have her first interview, and I have her first ever full length interview. So it was one of our, because I remember we were doing our interview we were actually doing in Springbrook for RCW that night. Wow. that Springbrook, that was an experience with RCW, to say the least. Yeah, I remember that venue, man, because I remember going down there before I did commentary. I would be like helping work the board there. Then I became commentary, so another dude took over the board, and then Kyle started training with because Kyle was from there, and he started training. Like he kind of became almost my assistant for a little while at shows, and then when I eventually couldn't do the Red Deer Springbrook shows anymore, he took over from me, and then he ended up taking Edmonton when I stepped away. Yeah.
And for those asking, Kyle is the Canadian Goose, Kyle Shaw.
STG in the chat. What's up, dude?
Yeah, the OGs of Backbreaker Media are here tonight together.
Mm-hmm. Technically, 2 of the 3 that are still around. We're here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get together for some more of these BS nights. Just we're so busy lately that we'll talk about at the end what we're doing now and whatnot. But
hell yeah. Well, SGD knows what I'm doing now. That's for sure.
And Mel's like, it's good to hear RCW quality hasn't changed much. Wait for it. Wait for it. I love Stream Labs sometimes.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's been like just to watch what independent wrestling's done in the last 10 years is kind of awesome. And again, I know there's some bitterness in it with that both of us felt it with certain things when who's running professional wrestling now. And again, things happen, but again, the landscape has outside of Monster Pro and RCW still existing and going as strong. And like Monster Pro, I haven't been to a show since pre-pandemic, but they're still going strong. They're still running every month. They're still doing their thing. It is still iconic. I agree. Again, it's the promotion that me and Melball go to the most. It's the one. Yeah, again,
they have the most shows, so that's sort of by
the most shows. It is the most affordable as a fan. I'm not sure what MPW charges, but it's the most affordable show. At if you buy your tickets in advance, it's $20. Where the other shows are more expensive to go to. You're in town with top talent in Love Pro Wrestling. I don't know what Monster Pro charges anymore because again, it's pre-pandemic for me. But it's just, I look at it and I'm like, again, the fact that independent wrestling is still as strong as it is makes me happy.
Oh, yeah. Well, hell, I'll show you an example of a show that we had here before that we went to here. This is CWE show picture I took from the show there. This is the night that Jake the Snake came to town.
Oh, Shauna's favorite guy.
And ended up DDTing Thaddeus Archer III.
That was the second Jake Roberts that come to the Edmonton area because I know he came years earlier with a defunct promotion.
Oh, okay.
You know, Rev Pro or no, not Rev Pro. Revolution Pro Wrestling. Yeah, they existed for like 2 years here. It was run by a certain metal guy who was murdered in a creek and now is replaced by a healer.
Okay, you can jump around the bit. It's all you want. It's run by Harlan Abbott. All right, we'll just call it that.
Yeah, he ran it, and yeah, I remember Jake being back then, and that's the first time actually I met Shauna was at that show because she happened to have been friends with Jake Roberts way back in the day when he worked in Stampede Wrestling way back in the day. So when he shouted her out at the show, and then we were all just like, "Ooh," because we kind of knew who she was, and then that's where my friendship with Shauna started. And yeah, I remember meeting Jake, and then there was it Nikita Koloff? No,
Nikita Koloff, yeah.
Yeah, Nick, I was ring announcing that show, and then you made me you're like, get in here, because I think it was right around my birthday.
Yeah.
And we got a picture, and you paid for the picture for you, me, and Nikita Koloff.
I forgot to grab that one. Damn it!
It's all good, brother.
It's
on my Facebook. Up. Oh, Cody Rhodes. Man, dark hair Cody Rhodes, man.
That show, and I got one in here as well. I'll throw up here, but that night.
I still wear that shirt, that Star Wars shirt. I still wear it to this day. I only just got that shirt that year, so
that was the first night that Cody and MRB faced each other.
This is the one you have up here is actually the second time he was here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the first time he had the next gen title.
Oh, that's right. You mean here? Let me throw this one here. I got a picture here with Nick Aldis with the Global Force Next Gen title.
I missed that show. I was like, I don't know if I was out of town, but I never got to go to that show, which just made me a little bit sad.
Andre, master of indiscretion.
Indiscretion, Mel. I don't know what that word means.
But yeah, just such a fun time there. But now it's funny because a lot of people complained about us. Well, here, let me show something else here. And I want to give a shout out to Chris Parrish here. And wait a second. No, I don't. No, I don't.
You did look young compared to now, and I'm not trying to slam you with it, but you do look young. You are. We're technically. That was like 8 years ago. Yeah, so technically you look young there.
That's true.
So technically you look so young, yeah, because you look younger than you are now.
So let's fast forward a little bit here. In 2018, we decide. Well, actually, no. Let's go a different way first. Let's talk about one of our most favorite trip every month, March through November, down to Red Deer.
Oh.
CWC.
I didn't do every single one, but I did a few of them, and man, that promotion was fire. This is where we got Jack Pride. We got Dylan freaking Stone, one of my favorites. I will always be a fan of that man because, dude, Dylan Stone was legitimately the nicest person I ever met in professional wrestling.
Absolutely. None. Like he had a way of just being the consummate professional no matter what happened.
But also drinking whenever he could.
Oh God, don't get me started on those stories. We're going to try and keep this somewhat PG, but we don't have to worry about that much, but
yeah,
we'll try and keep it somewhat decent here. But those shows for CWC, and by the way, folks, if you are looking forward to, if you want to watch a little bit of the CWC and hear what we're talking about, it is available up on our wrestling YouTube channel here. Just look up Canadian Wrestling Coalition. There's a full playlist there of all but 3 shows that we covered.
There we go.
And I'll be honest, it has taken me forever because of the other stuff I'm doing, but I am working on those last 3 shows. Mm-hmm. I do have the video. I just need to work on it. But I guess before we go into the name change in what we did, I think we have to go into what do you think?
We did after a year or two, we switched from Edmonton Sports Podcast Network to Backbreaker Media.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay. There's just one other thing I want to bring up, and I want to ask you this because it sort of relates to the question that I want to say, and it's something I personally feel right now. Andre, what do you feel is the most impactful thing that we've done here in Alberta in terms of changing the scene at all?
I did nothing.
You did. I honestly feel you did.
I made a T-shirt called that. I created a term called Blazer. That's what I did for independent professional wrestling.
I still have that shirt too.
I do. It's in a crate, but it's in a bin. But yeah.
All right, Kayla, you let me know what you think about what it is, and I'll bring it up here in a second because no matter what we did through our shows, there was always commentary that we always complained about in every show, regardless of how good show. For us, it was always the what if. The biggest complaint we always had as reviewers was what if. Why can't we see PWA? Yeah. PWA wrestlers fighting RCW wrestlers, fighting MPW wrestlers. And I think, Kayla, bring it up a different one here. I think the biggest impact was creating a platform for independent wrestlers to talk. That too. Like,
I did a few of those interviews.
not only that, but we also gave platforms for like the Chris Parrish podcast, the Sounds of Struggle.
Yeah.
Uh,
That started here. Yeah, you're right.
Monday Night Shaw,
which is still going.
it's
Which
still
still
going
go over on another network.
That was one of the saddest things when I had to let that go. But Kyle understood, and I'm glad Spencer picked him up the way they did. But here it is. The moment that changed Alberta wrestling, in my opinion, forever.
Yep. I remember I ring announced that goddamn show.
Chris Parrish, the Pure Power Wrestling heavyweight champion, wearing a Monster Pro Wrestling shirt, laying out the PWA champion and the RCW champion in my hometown.
Radaway, baby.
Radway, Alberta. Population of 80. The local hooker was still a virgin at the time. That's how small it was. Yes, there goes our PG rating. Thank you. But the fact that we could get a packed house, 300 to 400 people in that building to see this moment and to basically blow the doors off Alberta wrestling in terms of wrestlers knowing that they could go work somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, you never really saw, like, this kind of was the beginning of where you finally saw some crossover. Because, like, I worked in odd few shows where you'd see guys from different promotions. Like, whenever RTW is, like, way out of town, yeah, you'd see a PWA guy or two. Or maybe a Monster Pro guy show up. But this was the first time where you had, PWA champion versus RCW champion with an MPW wrestler with the PBW championship show up and hit each other, which turned into a great series of matches, man.
And before I forget, remember who was CWC champion as well at the time?
Oh, Blaze.
No.
Or was
Pride.
Pride. Oh, yeah, Pride was CWC champion, yeah.
So all the titles were in that ring. That was the same night that KJ slapped me to start off the show.
That is true. I remember that.
Yeah, that was an epic moment. Said, what does she have to say here? But you guys talked about the shows and just talked about it when people usually don't care. Yeah, that's what our goal was. It was a bunch of fans talking about wrestling. So,
yep. Again, it all came from just loving professional wrestling and just wanting to talk about it and just love on it.
And then, absolutely, iconic show, truly. Not Cassie Lee and Billy Kay levels of iconic, but getting there.
Hey! Cassie Lee did wrestle in Alberta.
She did get her start at PWA, yes.
Well, no, she had already trained and had wrestled in Australia, and then came here for further seasoning with Lance Storm. But I have a picture somewhere in my collection of pictures with her autograph from like whatever it was in the mid 2010s when she was here. I got her autograph in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a very nice person, and who knows, maybe the inspiration will be back here again.
Let's go.
But 2018, do you remember the big controversy about this? By the way, shout out to Chris Parrish about the new logo. Do you remember when we were starting to rebrand? We were going to originally call ourselves Spinebuster Media.
Yep.
And our friend Thomas Little, who had been around forever, and I was trying to show as much respect as humanly possible, turned around and said, that sounds too close to what we're doing.
Yeah. Again, like, you can't fault them.
You can't fault them for asking. So we acquiesced, and we came up with Backbreaker Media because we were no longer just calling Edmonton home. We were going down to Red Deer quite a bit, so can't be just the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network. So we came up with this, and shout out to Chris Parrish for coming up with this logo for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
it shouts out the old logo with we have the microphone and the Edmonton SPN logo. The microphones are still there, so yeah. But
yeah, we changed over and we really started expanding. a lot more video taken care of. We had at one time we were covering both MPW and RCW.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of an interesting dichotomy of flipping back and forth and having. How many times did we have to take titles between promotions?
I still remember when, because I had left I left Monster Pro probably 2016. We were working there at that point, and then I went and I started ringing announcing to go over to RCW, and then I remember leaving in 27 towards the end of 2017. And then I remember being at a show, and I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019. Steve Rivers and the big sexy beast Bradley Graham show up in RCW, and I was at the show, and you told me get the titles from those two.
Uh-huh.
And then my dumbass, as I show up to first round to bring you the belts, so that they can go back to the MPW where you were working with them at the time. I decided in the parking lot, I'm gonna take a selfie, and I took a selfie with this big ass gigantic championship.
And those titles, my God, they were like cookie sheets.
Biggest goddamn titles. I'm pretty sure they were made out of like large cookie sheets. Honestly, like they were gigantic.
They were insane. Like I gotta find some video of that so you guys can see it. But literally, you could literally cover up 2 heads with it for each title. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that title was gigantic, man.
But not only here's one of the craziest times I've had. Like, you want to talk about somebody that ends up burning himself out? And I'm just pulling up this picture. I am not very good at taking pictures, but I will put this one out. When I took over as GM of MPW.
Mm-hmm.
That picture, like, I don't know what size spare tire that is, but it looks like it haul a semi on it there. But
you're being too mean to yourself, man. You look good there, man.
But yeah, I ended up being the general manager for both promotions at one point. I think there was like a 2-month carryover where I was a general manager of both. And I'll never forget the time I started screwing with the promoters, saying I was going to announce matches back and forth. But
don't we wish that could happen?
But yeah, I wish things would have ended better, like leaving both promotions the way they did. Unfortunately,
one guy spiked a kid. One company spiked a kid.
That was the night I left RCW, and the piece of the kid. That's one of the 2 times that I ever broke the internet here in Alberta. Was the night that I put out saying I have never seen anything more disgusting in my life than this moment.
I love it. But then the complete opposite person, I'm going, I fucking love that.
and it's funny because every wrestler is like trying to message me. I got the PWA promoter calling me on my cell phone as I'm trying to drive home, trying to con out of me what happened there. Twitch
and that was maybe 3 or 4 months before I left, because resulting factors from that spiking and certain things, I ended up leaving the promotion. And I had the PWA announcer, an owner, call me and say some very nice things to me. It's like, yeah, you can come backstage. I'm like, no, I'm good.
What we got?
Yeah, I was cool just being a fan, honestly.
Andrew, thank you for resubbing here. Welcome back to the Players Club. And alerts are a little bit different here tonight, guys, because I'm using a different program and trying different things, trying to make things look pretty here. But once again, thank you to the player. Welcome back to the Players Club. Enjoy the food, enjoy the company. Watch out for the punch because I think it's spiked.
Definitely. No. Yeah. Weaponize the children, Mel. Always weaponize the children.
Exactly. That's the key thing, right?
Yeah. I figured my shit out with RCW within a few months, and I again went back to work for them after the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, everything shut down. I ended up going and working some shows with them, and I've done the odd show here and there for them ever since. So
yeah, I know. I actually resigned from MPW. I was actually in Lethbridge at the time when it happened, because promoter wouldn't book. Because promoter booked somebody. The promoter in Lethbridge booked somebody and didn't book who they wanted, and they had a talent share agreement, and all of a sudden it became one big argument and a couple lies were involved and half the roster left MPW at that point. And that's pretty much when I left MPW altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It sucked leaving such a good roster behind, but at the same time, it was time to go, to be honest with that. So,
yeah.
But as we're moving, I do have to say this. One of the things I was probably most proud of, and it's just before, well, let's go just before the pandemic here. And the fact that we got to work, well, BB, I got a chance to work with Force Pro Wrestling, the return of that.
Yeah.
Shut up, Tex Gaines, man. Like, he was willing to listen to any idea that you would come up with to create something special for him. Mm-hmm. And we had a bit of a chemistry there that I really did enjoy. And the fact that we got to, 3 shows ended up being?
Well, okay, so they did 2 before the end of 2019. Then we got Clandestine, and then we got 1 in the new year. So yeah, 3.
I don't even know if Force wants to take credit for that one after the pandemic.
They did it. I was there. I remember, because that's where me and Andreas had a revelation. I'm not going to talk about what it was, but we had a revelation as friends, and I went, "Oh shit, I'm an asshole." But yeah, I won't speak to what it was said, but I realized I was an asshole.
Well, we all are some days, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, things were also great here as we were going along, and before the pandemic, one of my other favorite.
Hold on, to Kayla in the chat. She's saying that was her few months, because I remember it was Kayla, Dylan Stone, and Andre. As I refused to call him by his name properly, I always yelled Andre, and I got the crowd yelling Andre at him by the end of that Force Pro run. Yeah, every time when he came out, it would be like Andre, and he got so pissed at that.
And if you guys get an opportunity, we do have all the Force videos available up on our Backbreaker Wrestling YouTube page once again here. But the other thing we got to do pre-pandemic that was pretty cool. Shout out to the Omen Gabriel Lestat and the staff at Beercade. We had a great time there. Posting the pay-per-views there, and it worked out well for both of us. We got to do some live on location stuff, which actually grew us quite a bit.
Well, again, and if we jump to post to the post pandemic, you're that bar and you are the reason me and Mel started working together.
Yeah, that's true, because I sort of well, we can get into the post-pandemic here in a little bit here. Let's finish up pre-pandemic, because I think there's a couple other slides that I want to get into here before we go. Oh, there's this one here from one of our last shows. Pre-pandemic, it was Kayla, Spencer, Parrish, myself, and Maniac. The fact that the Sounds of Struggle were working so well together, and Spencer was just getting started together. So Spencer came onto the scene at around 2018.
Yeah, and he started just a random fan who was just like he started talking to us and wanted to join in. Him and his brother, I remember his brother being at shows, and they would come in and join us for our post shows, and then eventually it kind of evolved into when.
So let's go.
I'm 2/3, baby. 2/3.
2/3 bartending C.
Yeah, that's what I have. But then it evolved into Win Column.
Yeah, well, eventually, he had Win Column for everything, and I just got a little bit overwhelmed for all the stuff that I was doing. So we ended up getting together, and this pretty much was the response that I had by the end of it, to be honest with you. But not every business deal has a great ending, folks. I just leave it at that. Spencer's doing a great job with his promotion now, Love Pro Wrestling, getting out there and just showing off great talent. Basically picking up tradition that PWA left when they took off. So but I will say, before we get into post-pandemic and that, 2 things. One, This tweet, I will never forget it. The fact that Demand was highlighting the stuff that we had Force Pro Wrestling on the Demand Progress PPV channel.
That's pretty cool.
That was a pretty cool moment when that happened there. So
I laugh at the wrestler they mention in that tweet because I have been very vocal about how much I don't like her this last year. So
fair enough. But then, there was we'll just yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to know what he's talking about, go check out Andre and Millball's quick call shows.
Our Chop Talks.
Sorry.
There was one, I think it was the start of January. It was January or February of this year that I did an LPW. We did an LPW show. And I might have said some not nice things. So, yeah. Let's go with that.
Fair enough. And then we had one last thing coming up right before the pandemic that actually, I'd have to say, if we look back, probably the best wrestling show that either one of us have really attended.
It was one of the most unique experiences as a wrestling fan that I have ever had. The fact that I got 3 different invites to the show and my name wasn't on the goddamn list. You, Thad, and Blaze all personally invited me to the show. I was like, great. I'm in, like, I'm over like Rover. I'm in on this. And I get there and my name wasn't on the goddamn list. I blame all 3 of you for that.
Logistics wise, sometimes some things were a little off. That just happens. What can we say?
And I was first in line too. I was one of the first people in that lineup.
Oh God. I love the joys of Twitch. Perfect ad time we talk about Taryn. But yeah,
great.
For those that don't know what we're talking about the Clandestine Society Night 1, which is the first one that they did. It was a 5.5-hour spectacle, and I'll never forget just getting the faith from Blaze to be. He wanted me to handle the production, straight up. Want me to handle everything when it comes to setting up the video and everything that we need to do with it. And he had some other people come in and work with me to do the multi-view angles and whatnot, and the live time, but all the equipment, that was all ours. And the fact that we were trending in Canada. I think we were number 3 in Canada that night.
That's pretty sick.
Which number 1 and number 2 were a McGregor fight.
No, there you go.
So,
yeah,
Omen fans got it perfect. Clandestine Society Act 1 is a moment I'll always remember.
Yeah, I will never forget that night because again, there was so much, and again, it was legitimately the first time in Edmonton that you had every single promotion under that roof. Like in Edmonton proper, every promotion was represented on that show.
Yeah, and it was made to a point, like we could, it's 5 years old, we could get into the politics of this. Do you remember how Kyle Shaw was never supposed to be on that card because Squig was bitching about his guys being on that card that night? No,
I didn't know that.
I don't give a fuck. Everybody hates me now, so I'll just go with that. They might not. I'm just saying. But there were on purpose that night. Tex Gades ends up taking the fall on one punch from Kyle to win the match. That was why. Mm-hmm. Because Kyle was getting less than great treatment in RCW, and Tex wanted to put a point out there to say, yeah, I can put anybody over, and I will put anybody over.
That finish always perplexed me, man.
That's why it happened. If people don't know why it happened, that's why it happened. It was all politics. But you want it.
Yep.
sorry, you want to speak about politics? We got to talk about another match on that card, which leads me to talk about a year earlier, the worst match I have ever seen in a wrestling ring live. Forward. Vince Austin versus the universal crappy wrestler, Zach Mercury, in a glove on the pole match.
He hadn't gone Coda yet, had he?
Nope. He
you're
had
right,
to
it
go Coda because this match was so bad, he had to go change his gimmick.
Oh my God, coal miner's glove match. It was literally a rubber glove on a pole.
No. It was one of those. Sorry, just want to bring these up here. It was the STG, what a name. He was a hell of a guy. Great guy, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. It wasn't his fault. It was all Mercury's. So this glove was actually a toy Avengers Thanos glove because Infinity War just came out. So they ended up, to try and make it look like a coal miner's glove, so they actually stapled like pieces onto it so you couldn't actually put your fingers in the glove. And they tried to do some black tape on it, and the tape started falling off. And
that's why I thought it was a rubber glove, because of all the tape and shit.
Yeah, it just looked horrible. The way that it was booked was absolutely pathetic. From the build to the match to what happened at the end. It ended up like there was a wizard moment in the match with Vince's protege, the young one. I forget what his name was.
Oh, he was part of the NVR. Oh, I can't remember his name, but I know you're talking about. Yeah,
he ends up turning Mercury into it's a possessed glove moment.
Yeah,
halfway through the match, it was
the worst thing. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
As Mel bringing up her favorite chant right now. But because of that, we actually got Dildo on a pole at the Clandestine Society because they wanted to prove that they could put a match like that together. That's so ridiculous. It should be absolutely ridiculous, and actually turned into a pretty decent match if you think about it.
It's probably the most memorable thing of that show for me personally. Yeah. That's a current comment of a current RCW, but yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that match there between Dylan Stone and
Mike McSugar.
That's it. Mike McSugar was the other one out of Saskatchewan. Hell of a wrestler too.
With referee Judge Van Omen,
who ended up taking a mouthful of something there at the end of the match. That was a bit of amazing. So
Mike McSugar was a little too excited to be part of this match.
So if you guys are interested, the whole show is available up on our Backbreaker Video YouTube channel. So don't forget to check that out there. But then unfortunately the pandemic happens, and it just,
which for me was very disappointing because I thought Force Pro Wrestling was gearing up to be this such a great thing happening in Edmonton. I was so happy it was back. I remember being at the first ever Force show in Morinville.
Yep.
But yeah, and it just shut down, and it really hurt, man. Was we lost again? I didn't, and then it was the last time I saw Brian. Was independent wrestling was before the pandemic, and then because of the pandemic, we never ended up getting together, and he passed away in 2021. So
yeah, unfortunately, we lost Brian Hamilton. Just pretty much a few months before we started opening up wrestling shows again with Love Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll always be remembered here. That's for damn sure.
Hell yeah.
There is.
I know that summer was the return for me of like with RCW in 2021, and I know Brian, because he passed away in May. I know you would have been ready to be sitting there, because I remember Brian passed away, and then the next RCW show that came just after that, we did the Brian Memorial at that show.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, as much as we crap on Squig for what he does does care about his fans.
Oh yeah, they were ready. It's like, no, we're gonna make sure he gets a proper send off, and we did it. We had the big giant sign there in his chair, and
yeah, it's tough. We could probably set another 5 hours here just talk about Brian and all the great stuff.
Oh, I have so many stories about that man. We'll have to do that at some point. Maybe get Delmer. Maybe figure out a way to get Delmer on one of these shows.
and one of the most memorable ones to me was the time that he had his knee taken out by Jinder Mahal.
We both did.
We'll get into this quick because we're going to start putting this into forward gear here because we got a couple things to wrap up. We'll probably have to do this another time too. Just a BS session like this is so much fun to relax to as well.
Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah.
But so we're at a PWA show and there's a Money in the Bank ladder match, for lack of a better term. And Jinder's one of the guys that's the last guy into the match. So he comes in and there's this little 6-foot ladder that he puts down on his side and he's kicking it out of the ring. Like normally, normally when you boot a ladder, like let's be honest, when you normally boot a ladder, it's gonna hit the rope, vibrate, and then fall down. This one didn't.
No.
It shot out like a rocket outside the ring
and hit me and Brian.
Of all people, it hit the two of them.
I remember Brian almost getting castrated in Calgary from a broken guardrail that popped up and landed. The leg of the guardrail landed about 4 inches from his area.
Andre, are you meeting up with Crowder here right away, or?
God no, I don't have to go to court. I'm okay.
But yeah, great to see you here, PJC. And this is where I was going to get to right away here. And need to hear about Jinder Mahal versus Mike the Ref at Andre C. You pretty much just heard it. And the best part was right after that, it ended up being a brawl on the outside, to which Jinder is going to these two guys. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just waylaying this guy while trying to apologize at the same time.
He was, and then we had the because when the ladder first hit us, we had the security dude that took over from Nazar when Nazar became a wrestler. He's just running over to us. I was like, "Are you guys okay?" Because he was worried. And me and Brian started sitting there after he left. We're like, maybe we can get some free tickets out of Kurt from this. We never did. We never asked for anything like that. But we were debating it. We were like, maybe we get some free tickets from Kurt out of this.
But yeah, just so many fun times that we could talk about here. But I would have to say the pandemic did a lot of things for us, but it diversified us. And here with the logo here, there's 4 versions of this logo. If anybody isn't familiar with it, like we got Backbreaker Wrestling, which I do a fair bit with the AEW coverage, and probably going to be doing a little more commentary coverage here coming up. Andre, you and Melball are really the heads of Backbreaker Wrestling here, because what do you cover all now? Chop Talk.
So we have Chop Talk. Did you know we're just bringing Did You Know this year? We have Stardom Review. We introduced Dream Review Marigold last year, and we have the NJPW Puro Wrestle Review.
And you guys have done over 300 episodes of those already, and that's just merely over a year. So,
well, no, 2 because we started in the summer of 2022. So
okay,
we're about 2.5 years in.
2.5 years.
Yeah, because
it feels like a year.
Oh, don't worry. It's already out of control. Don't worry.
No, honestly, for the stuff that he's done to help me out, STG, he is a godsend on many ends here, this man. Like that's why he's the OG, he's the rider. I don't want to say ride or die because that implies other people. But But yeah.
No, but again, like me and Melball were friends beforehand, but you're the reason we kind of put us together for Forbidden Door in 2022 at the beer. We did it live from Beercade, and we did our pre-show, and you are literally
Mel's a little upset about that one, but that's okay.
what about what my ego is gigantic?
No, I think it's the ride or die comment.
Oh yeah, yeah, but like you're the reason me and Mel started working together because you by us doing that, you put it in her head. She's like, I would like to do this, and she approached me. She's like, you want to talk Japanese wrestling, and that's been the last 2.5 years of my life.
Well, it's funny because for those that didn't know, I ended up. We used to have a Backbreaker podcast, and I ended up having to shutter that because, frankly, I didn't have enough time to I didn't have enough time to edit. I didn't have time to put up. I didn't have Kyle was doing a great job getting his show together. I just didn't have time to edit it. And in terms of the other talents, they were up and down whether they wanted to do work or not. So basically, I had to say, I'm sorry, I'm not doing Backbreaker podcast at this time, which everything's still up on our Podbean channel. Mm-hmm. So if you are interested in some of the OG episodes, it is backbreakermedia.podbean.com. Still there. I still pay the $29 a year to keep it active for you guys. And I guess Audrey's other job.
Yep. You're the reason I have to do this, Mike. I'm blaming you. I blame you, Mike.
Well, sending the gas bill to the promotion, not to me. And then STG here's I'm gonna duck and cover from Mel. Yeah, good point.
No, I am not an MVP. I am I am the most MRP, a most regular person.
And Mel here is saying, I'm 5'3", you have to duck far. That's a real low duck. Oh, that's right. The DBS pods they're still on our on the Podbean page as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we have the DBS pod. We got
Wrestling Clarity.
Well, hell, I pulled this up. The original lineup of everything we had.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
This was pretty
podcast, Blown Call.
We even had T. James Logan in there for a little bit there with the his channel.
And then didn't I end up moving off Wrestling Clarity into a TNA show?
Oh, Total Nonstop Anarchy.
Yeah, I did it, and then Danimal ended up joining me as
Danimal had a show.
Well, Danimal became my co-host on that because I had rotating guests for the first couple episodes, and then me and Danimal just got along so well, and we did another bunch of episodes, and then I think episode 13, I was just like, I'm done with this. It was the last episode. I'm like, I'm done with this.
Yeah,
watching old TNA was very hard.
Very, very much so, and
yeah,
but yeah, and I also want to give a shout out to Chris Parashamaniac, who had a very long running show, The Sounds of Struggle. Once again, Kyle Shaw with Monday Night Shaw. Big Bad Boris with Punks and Pile Drivers started over on our channel before he hopped over to the Love Wrestling. And now is doing a great job with Saturday Night Love every Saturday night on his streams. So, And then thanks to the pandemic, I actually opened up Backbreaker Gaming, and originally a lot of the videos are still available up on the gaming or on the wrestling channel because I haven't moved them over yet. It's ironic that one of our SNK heroines, the all-female fighting game, it's one of our most popular videos still on the channel.
Nice.
But I want to give a shout out right now to Kayla J,
okay, sorry for all time's sake. Kayla J. Whoa! Kayla J. I had to for Kay. That's like me and Mel used to do that chant on every show.
Jaylee, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Sorry
Angelica
about
herself.
Sorry,
Uh,
The alerts aren't working well right now. Wrong chant. Well, from
Angelica,
no,
Angelica, Angelica. I had to give it to her.
No. The chant that we always had when she was out there, especially later on. Boo!
I still remember. It was 2018. Angelica versus Kayla versus Nicole Matthews, and Nicole from the other. And this was at that weird show on that weird building on the east side. I remember being on the opposite side of the building, and Nicole cracks Angelica the chop. It sounded like she did the chop next to me, and they were on the opposite side of the building.
I remember that echo. By the way, that video is still available, and it is, I believe, number 5 of our most watched videos up on our YouTube channel right now. And yeah, let's.
Yeah, I had to do that. Still one of those moments I will never forget as an indie wrestling fan. Yeah.
RK popping in here, which was difficult to watch.
The beginning.
This was literally the weekly pay-per-view started with episode 1.
Well, no, we started with the final episode of Nitro. Then we did the first ever WWA All-Stars.
That's right.
And then we went into, I think I did 11 episodes of TNA, then went, screw this. I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah. And then once again, happy 10 years back. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Things are going strong here, and you never know who's going to join us here in the next few years here, because I've actually had a few feelers and a few people ask about hopping on board, and we're going to work on some stuff. But let's hold on here before we do this.
Oh, I remember these a-holes.
One RCW event, there was a tag match versus the Blazing Dicks. One of the opponents got busted. Oh, yes, I remember. That was Blue Tato.
Yes. Oh, man.
The man was known as Blue Tato, and I will say this. Will that match get uploaded? No. No.
I still remember being in Calgary, and that motherfucker Blue Tato running up behind me in the middle of the hotel hallway and just cracking me with a chop right dead center in between my shoulder blades, right on the spine. I literally fell to my knees. It hurt so bad.
That chop fest with the Blazing Dicks, I will say, that is one of those times where somebody decided that it was important to get real life stuff involved in the ring. That's why that won't be up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that happened. I don't need to get into it further details, pending investigations, but you never know when somebody's going to investigate stuff like that. But I would recommend not doing that. So that's why we won't do that. But Andre, before we're going to wrap this up here in the next 5 minutes or so here, any plans coming up for the future here for you guys, and any other thoughts about what you're doing and just stuff to wrap up stuff?
Yeah, again, me and Mel still going strong 2.5 years in with our Andre Mill Wrestling Talk, which gets re-uploaded here on Backbreaker Video. Yeah, we're just going strong. We're doing just talking about the content. I've had to pull back slightly on certain things with work and stuff, but we're still covering all the big events. Mel's looking at starting to do maybe a smaller wrap-up show for our channel specifically. We do our weekly Japanese content show for OLE that we work with now too. But yeah, we're looking at something like that because again, I can't watch everything right now because my life has just been stupid busy, and it's about to get way stupid busier working with Rich King with this new Shredamania program I'm starting tomorrow. But yeah, we're gonna our products are coming out. Diginoa, Dream Review, Mari Gold, NG Baby Puro Wrestler Review, Stardom Review, Chop Talk. Over on OLE, I'm rocking with Ed doing the Marvel Talk over there, doing Japanese Update. I show up pretty much every Sunday for Point of View now. Again, it's been a lot of fun. Let's just, yeah. I remember a wrestler named Shreds, Mike Shreds.
Mike Shreds, yeah. He's still going to BC.
He is.
But yeah, no, it's been great to see all the work that you've done here and just how everything's grown.
And just realize you're the reason it all started, brother. You,
Uh,
you started me on this path 10 years ago.
so once again, I will apologize to everybody.
Mhm.
Just once again, just apologies. I'm sorry for all this happening, but I'm kidding, of course. But no, for myself, I'm continuing on with AEW content because, I absolutely hate taking credit, especially when I see a Meltzer face around me because, but, there's unforgivable. But, myself, when it comes to the wrestling content, I am looking to stretch out a little bit, get some more help with some friends, get some more. I am looking to do a little more co-op streams when it comes to wrestling now, especially with this program here. Now that I know what I'm doing, I can work with it a little bit more and try to get things sorted out with that. And then gaming wise, the gaming channel's just humming. It's a funny story. I'll throw it out real quick here. I know we got to wrap up here soon, but the main reason why this gaming stream has gone as strong as it was, and I have to give full credit to Thaddeus for this. Thaddeus Archer III. Because I had been very open and honest about my concerns about different promotions and different people that had owned certain promotions and certain people I had a falling out with, and basically killed my love of wrestling for I would have to say a good 2 years. And basically he challenged me. And he made me look in the mirror quite a bit in terms of what I am doing myself. And I started to realize that I'm one of these people that always used to take his ball and go home. In many ways, if I didn't like a situation, I'd walk out, which, let's face it, for a volunteer organization like we're doing right now, like hell, we're not making money off this. Outside of Twitch, which maybe pays once every 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, somewhere in there. You got to make $50 to make payments, folks. So that's why I'm saying that. So, And Andre's like, I don't know. I'm not an affiliate anyway.
Nope.
But just for us doing that, you got to do something that you enjoy. But the fact that he said that to me and got me so pissed off. We have had daily content on the Backbreaker Gaming YouTube page. We are going on 3 years.
That's awesome.
3 years every day. And if I'm not smart enough to get things going, it's going to end on Wednesdays. So I'll be editing tomorrow. So, but yeah, we got a whole bunch. We're starting to do now that WWE 2K25 is online. With the GM mode, we're going to start doing a little bit of online GMing. And if certain people want to be available after Dynamite or Collision, we can. I've had some challenges put out there. So we'll have to talk, and maybe we'll have a whole Backbreaker thing. I know there's somebody else that wants to be involved as well. But Crowder,
I have had talks with a guy who likes to talk named Mark. So. Yeah.
And PJC, half of those are yours, and especially the ones this week. Because this week we're going to be featuring my faction with PJC playing certain stuff there. So I'll let GM with Andre C.
It's PJC week. Let's go.
As of right now, it pretty close is because I didn't do a stream on Saturday, so I have no stuff my own. Also, I got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle going on. We got some other plans coming up. We got MLB The Show coming out. If my wallet can handle it, I'll try and get some more games going through. I want to do more co-op this year. I want to work with more people. Hell, we can do Jackbox stuff literally on this screen like we're doing here. So I might actually start to invite some people and start doing some stuff.
I'd be down to play some Jackbox. I love Jackbox games.
And of course, PJC indicating that he can't take any credit either. So, but yeah, Andre, This has been a fun trip down memory lane. There's a lot of people we missed, and we're gonna have to do this again. Like we got to go back and talk about the Trailer Park Boys. We got to talk about our favorite shows in PWA and some of our favorite matches. Like I didn't get a chance to talk about Davey Richards and Bobby Sharp from Springbrook and the time that I forgot to ring announce, stories like that.
I didn't get to talk about one of my favorite matches of all time, Michael Richard Blaze versus Christopher Daniels. And, dude, that match was incredible. I watched that in Calgary, and that was my favorite show because we got them to chant. We started chant. They did a corner chop. Then we chanted 10 more times, and they did it 10 more. Goddamn! Every time they do one, 9 more times. Do another one, 8 more times. Do another one, 6, 7 more. And it was so much fun.
So it ended up being like 81 chops.
Well, no, it was 11. It was one chop per every time. It was 11 chops. It was like after you hit the first, we yelled 10 more times, and they went 10 more times. It was great.
Well, as we wrap up here, Andre, I don't have the fancy graphic on the bottom of the screen. I apologize. I didn't have it together. Where can the people find you, and when are you going to be online next?
So we'll be back up at some point for Andre Mel Wrestling Talk. Nothing scheduled currently at the moment, but we'll be having more content coming out very soon. You can find that at youtube.com/Andre Mel Wrestling Talk. You can find me coming up Friday on our local establishment on Twitch and YouTube, where myself and Mel will do it. We talk about the week in Japanese professional wrestling. So you come check us out over there. And then I'll be back this coming Sunday for the Point of View, but it will not be in the morning as it normally is. It is a Point of View, Superb Owl watch along as we watch the big game between the Birds and the Chiefs.
Question for you, Andre.
What's that?
Is this going to be about as rigged as the football game's going to be? Because we all know what the hell is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I'm rigging it the fact that I might have to murder Ed. I don't know. Just joking. I joke,
well,
obviously.
If it means the referees won't give every flag to Mahomes for the next while, I would really appreciate that.
I'll try. I'll try my best, but I can't control the results of the Superb Owl.
Yeah, and I just give it up on football, to be honest with you, after what happened last week to my Bills and how they got screwed 3 times.
I was cheering for your boys, man. I was cheering for your boys.
So the entire country, but it's about as useful as – never mind, I don't want to talk politics here. So anyway. Yeah. Nice transition there. Next time you're going to catch me is most likely on Wednesday. I might do it on Tuesday. I might have a stream on Tuesday, but over on my Twitch channel on Wednesday, we are going to have the AEW Dynamite sidecast as always. I'm trying to remember. We got a couple matches lined up getting towards Grand Slam Australia coming up, and maybe we'll even get a sighting of the Harley Cameron Mercedes Moné doll. So if you haven't seen that from yesterday, go back and watch the clip. It is absolutely hilarious. But there is a possibility of I've talked to somebody about adding some more wrestling content to the gaming channel. Keep your ears perked for some details as well. Some of the news coming down over the next few days. We're looking at I might even be starting my streams on Wednesday a little earlier as we like last week, we did a run through of WWE 2K25 as well as PGA 2K25 as a preview video that we put up separately on the channel. Looks like we might be starting to do a little bit more of that kind of stuff going forward here. There is a deep dive going into MLB The Show coming up this Tuesday. So we'll take a look a little bit of that. We'll talk about the wrestling news of the week. We'll have to talk a little bit about Charlotte Winslow and, how John Cena is preparing us for an epic story of the year. But that's all topics we could talk about on another stream because, well, we're going to wrap this up here. Once again, everybody, thank you for doing this. Andre, thank you for being here. Like this, we've been trying to plan this for a month and, I've just been slow at getting to it.
And I've had a very weird month, so trust me, I get it.
Well, I wanted to do it on the first anniversary of or the 10-year anniversary of the first stream, or the first video. But unfortunately, that was Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, then I got sick and just okay. This month has been a mess. Let's just say that.
All right. Well, on behalf of Andre C, myself, Mel, PJC, Rick Jules, Astrid, everybody here at Backbreaker Media, I want to thank each and every one of you for checking things out today. I don't know how this is going to end because, well, frankly, I don't know this program well enough. So I'm going to hit one of these buttons and hopefully it's going to end everything. No raid out or anything. So here we go. Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody, for checking things out, and we will see you later. And always remember, be part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. We'll see y'all here next time on Backbreaker Video and the Mike Twitch channel. Take care, everybody.